Hello, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Matt Bland, the Chief Operating Officer of the Society of Evidence-Based Policing, and he's going to tell us all about the national conference that the SEBP is hosting this year. So hello, Matt. Welcome to the stage, and please tell us about this conference.
This is our annual conference, the National Evidence-Based Policing Conference. This year we're going to be theming it on reform, police reform and what works in police reform. So it's going to be a little bit different. We will have some of the same content that we've had in previous years where we're looking at interventions that work at local level. But we're going to be hearing from people like the Police Minister, Gavin Stevens, Randy Marsh, Professor Tom Kirschmeyer, on the broader picture of what's going on in policing at the moment and how evidence-based practice can inform what happens there, because there's so much change that's going to be going on. It'll be really interesting to see what applied science can bring to it.
Okay, well, it's a big event. I've been obviously involved for the last, I don't know, 6-7 years now. Why do we go through the hustle every year? What is it that brings us to do this again and again?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work, but there's a lot of, there's a big team of really dedicated volunteers like yourself who get involved to make it manageable. But I think at the end of it, even though you're tired, you come out of it quite energized, right? And usually the people I speak to who have been to the event feel the same way. It's just that opportunity to share ideas and meet people who are working in similar sorts of spaces. Loads of people have come away with stories of contacts they've made at the conference, ideas that they're then taken back to the workplace. It's like the thing that we major on is the challenge that we put down at every conference is take one thing away and start working with it and doing it. That's what this conference is about. So although it's a lot of work, it's our annual thing. It's our regular get together, and it's the one thing that the charity's been doing since the start. So it's a tradition beyond anything else now.
Yeah, and I think also for quite a few people, coming to this event might be the only policing thing or in their calendar of that kind, and the source of information where they get new ideas and new findings from, and they hear someone speak and they go back to force and say, hey, you won't believe this. Whereas, because obviously many of the research findings are published in articles, but there's hundreds of articles getting published all the time. So it's almost impossible to keep up with that. So I think the conference is a very good means of distributing, bringing to the person really, really cutting edge things that maybe people wouldn't be hearing about otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it gives us a chance to give people a platform. Conferences can be quite academic things sometimes. So if you're doing policing, you're practicing policing, but you're doing the pracademic thing, how do you get into this space? We usually have police officers and police staff showing off their work of what they've done, and that's quite inspiring, I think, for the people who go along who are also doing those jobs. So we'll be doing more of that this year, and it's good to be able to give people an opportunity to do that, and for it not to cost like 500 quid to buy a ticket. So £99 a ticket is a pretty good deal for picking up 24 ideas on what you might do with the current hot topics in policing.
What are some of the highlights for you from some of the previous conferences?
I mean, they're right in those areas around where practitioners get up and talk about the things that they've been working on sometimes for years, and they've seen an evaluation, at either end of the scale, show the value of what they're doing in a way that they can then explain to other people. So last year, the presentation by PC John Porter and Sergeant Ben Hansen about GPS devices for dementia patients, that's a really pragmatic, straightforward before and after test, not mind-boggling science. That's never going to get into an academic conference with that type of evaluation, but it's still evidence-based practice. It's got a really powerful story behind it, and everybody can relate to how at any part of policing you can use the themes of evidence-based practice to make a difference, even if you're a specialist. So it's those sorts of presentations are the highlights for me, and there are probably too many of them to mention down the years. It's the one thing that SEBP has become renowned for, is sort of giving a showcase for that type of material. And then the other thing is just people. I mean, I don't stop yakking for the whole time. I think both years I've lost my voice because you're just constantly talking to people, and that's just a really nice human thing to do in the 2020s, when we're all behind our screens most of the time. So actually be physically in the same space as people and have that opportunity to just network. It sounds really cliche, but we last year we did 30-minute coffee breaks morning and afternoon, and that was one of the biggest, most positive feedback aspects we had, was the opportunity for people to talk, reflect on what they were hearing, and sort of then process it into something that they might be able to take back to the workplace.
Yeah, that's something that stands out for me as well. The previous point that you mentioned, that you've got that there are conferences with those big academics who are doing all the big research. Tom Kirchmeier, for example, he's been at our conferences a few times now. But the individual officer who's tried something and it's worked, and it's something that everyone should know, getting that space on the stage, I think that's really valuable as well. Not only because it's such a fantastic starting point for maybe even bigger research projects, but also because it shows other officers, well, hang on, they are not higher up than me, or it's not impossible for me to do this as well. So I think the sharing of ideas, but also the inspiration is great, because few people are going to be sitting there that, oh yeah, I want to do some research and PhDs for 10 years and then stand at a stage here. But hey, this is a colleague of mine, just in a different force, and they did this, so maybe I could as well.
Yeah, EBPs are everybody, right? So you don't need a PhD to do it.
No, exactly, and I think that's the point that we're always trying to communicate, isn't it? That this is something everyone can get involved in. What are you hoping the impact of this year's conference?
Well, the big thing, there's typical 2020s as well, isn't it? The big thing this year, I think, is to try to reach a broader audience. So we've got many members of the National Police Chiefs Council coming. We've got people from the Home Office, people from the College of Policing, and we're really sort of trying to get some of these stories of these practitioners across to the senior decision makers in the policing sector. We've had spots of that in the past, but we haven't gone full out to get a wide array of chief officers, deliberately gone out to seek a wide array of chief officers and senior stakeholders to be around the table. We're going to be doing things like Police Graduate Showcase winners. We've got an online event on the 6th of May where we've got the best from PCDA dissertations, all newly minted constables presenting their research. 4 of those will be at the conference to talk about their research. We're hoping to get students from the master's programs, practitioners who have just graduated from their master's programs, to talk about their applied research, and the normal sorts that we have, like John Porter and Ben Hanson from last year, where people aren't doing it as part of qualification, it's just part of their work, and then show these senior audiences just what is going on, because we think that can make a real major difference in what policing looks like in England and Wales over the next 10 years. And we want to make sure that the evidence is really starting to drive that process.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the logistics of the conference? How is it set up? Where is it? And what should people do now?
Well, so you can go onto our website and book now, and I think you've got that going along, the link going along the bottom of the screen. We are at the Open University in Milton Keynes this year. We're being hosted by the OU, and we'll be at the Leonardo Hotel in Milton Keynes for the National Evidence-Based Policing Awards, which nominations will be available from next week. It's really dead simple. You just go online and book yourself a ticket for £99, and you get a day and a half of the excellent talks that we're talking about. You'll get all the resources that we sort of give you alongside that. It's a little bit more if you want to come to the awards dinner as well, which is also another really good opportunity to meet and network people. And we'll give you a dinner and some wine at the same time. And yeah, then it's just about looking forward to what's coming. It's nice to have. I think it's always nice for people to have these dates in their diary, and this one is a particular one at the end of the summer, where hopefully the weather will still be quite nice for everybody to get over to Milton Keynes and learn about some of the new research that's going on in policing.
Well, the point about weather is quite interesting, because a few years ago we hosted it at Milton Keynes, and due to snow we cancelled the second day. I don't know if that was September as well.
Probably. No, please tell me it wasn't September. I think it was more like November. So don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
No. Okay, everything will be fine. It'll be fantastic weather. Definitely worth flying in for. And yeah, hope to see you there. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Bye.